When it comes to the Red Bull Drifting World Championship, we're unloading in Long Beach. This secret location will serve as the site of the last battle of the year, where drifters from all over the planet will throw down to show who is the best in the world. The first ever Red Bull Drifting World Champion is about to be crowned. A warm, tire smoke-filled afternoon in Southern California as we kick off the Red Bull Drifting World Championship. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pier S at the Port of Long Beach. I'm Robbie Floyd alongside Ryan Sage, the co-founder of Formula Drift here in the U.S. These are the best of the best drivers, 32. That's what we start with, from 12 different nations, all with the same goal, Ryan. That's to become the first ever world champion.
Absolutely, Robbie. And looking around at this beautiful venue, I see a spot where drifting may have started 20 years ago. That was then, this is now. We're here today to find out who the best drifter in the world is. We started off yesterday with single run qualifying. The drivers showing the judges how they do it individually. But today, for the first time ever, top 32 tandem under a new judging format. Robbie, insanity.
It's going to be exciting, but first, before we get to the action, let's turn it over to Maylene Ramey, our partner, the lady on the scene, and let's find out a little bit more about drifting.
Whew. Thanks, Robbie. For those of you who don't know too much about drifting, it actually started in Japan about 15 years ago, and since then those drivers have become like celebrities overseas. Now here in the U.S., Formula Drift was born in 2003, and it's grown to record levels of popularity. But this sport, it's not a race, it's a performance, with drivers going sideways and door to door with their competitors. In fact, it's all about the style, and some people call it the action sport of motorsport.
Drifting, without question, is the action sport of motorsports. It's the only motorsport where you can adapt your own style and your personality to your driving. You have, a lot of leeway in what you have to do on the course, and you can go out there and run as hard and aggressive as you want, or you can just be smooth and laid back, and it's all up to you, but it's mainly personality and style driven, just like all action sports.
Drifting, it's kind of like, well, it is the extreme version of motorsport. Hanging it out on the middle edge of control, yet sustaining control. And the ability of the drivers that are here this weekend and their crews to set up the cars to run that committed, run that close to the wall and not destroy anything, it's very impressive. And the respect level goes very, very deep from myself to my other competitors and the other teams out there.
Drifting is like what we do when we rent a car in a different city. We're in tour and we just trash it. Went about trying it myself, on dirt paddocks, and it's not it's easy to kind of get the car sideways, but it's a lot harder to drive it around a track side by side with racing another guy and literally feet off each other's panels and in a controlled slide and then whipping it back the other way and sliding around a track. And I'm a big fan of the drift racing whole atmosphere, so you got a fan over here in the freestyle pit.
I'd say it's pretty damn exciting to go and check out, and for the guys that are involved, it's always cool to be able to get paid and be out there just destroying a car.
There's just this feeling that you get whether you're jumping out of an airplane, throwing a car at 100 miles an hour, jumping a 100-foot double on a dirt bike. It's just this feeling that comes over your body, and it's just pure bliss. And I think that's what everyone out here is out here for.
Coming up, Crooked X is rocking the stage while the drivers prepare to roll out for the round of 32. The Red Bull Drifting World Championship is brought to you by Scion.
Never seem to get my thrill. Here's my latest thrill. 1,500 rounds of adrenaline. Gonna ride this rocket ship until I win. It's the end of me. Notify my next of kin. Hey, hey, 1,500 rounds of adrenaline.
Welcome back to Red Bull Drifting World Championship in the Port of Long Beach. I'm hanging out with the guys from Crooked X. How are you guys doing?
What's up? We're doing good.
You guys just had a killer performance, and now the drifting continues. So, have you had a chance to check this out? What do you think of it?
Yeah, we got to sit in the Red Bull, the power station, the energy station, and got to watch. It was awesome, really cool.
Saw the red vent slam into the wall.
Oh.
I was like, no.
And then you were like, yes! So you guys are high school freshmen from Tulsa, Oklahoma. You don't have your license yet, but who do you think out of you all would be the best drifter, like the best driver?
It's got to be
you.
me.
Why you?
Yeah, he can't reach the pedals.
Oh, that's me, guys. Right now, let's take a closer look at one of the world's most unique drift tracks.
For Formula Drift, to be able to create a world championship and aggregate the world and work with our partners, from all the different race leagues around the world and get the best guys to come here and, to Long Beach and race on U.S. soil is huge. When we first came down and looked at this piece of property as a location, obviously the backdrops of the cranes, the oil rigs, the neo-industrial feel, but the most important thing was to create a track that was world class.
Anytime Red Bull gets their hands into a sport like this and takes control and puts on their own event, they're out to impress some people, and they're going to do nothing short of that this weekend. The entry speeds are expected to be over 100 miles an hour, something that we've never seen in the sport of drifting in 5 years of competition in the U.S.
This track is awesome. Red Bull did a really good job about track, location, everything. So I'm very, very excited to do this weekend.
The challenge is, it will be about judging the intense speed we're going to have, reaching 3 digits, and then pulling in the e-brake and start traveling sideways down a straightaway right in towards the big cement wall.
You're pretty much backwards, just full lock drift, right up against the wall. As soon as I hit the first outer clipping zone, I'm downshifting in a second and just standing on the throttle all the way to the first clipping point.
And then from there, it's a little bit of a drag race through the last 2 corners, so you're going to need to make sure you get a good racing line out of that tight turn. But fairly long course and fairly high speed. It's kind of got everything.
It's going to be really interesting seeing some of the early on head-to-head battles.
The Red Bull track is like no other drifting track in the world. It was purposely built from the ground up. Drivers start off 40 feet behind the Red Bull start-finish line. As the green flag drops, it's an all-out drag race as soon as they blast through the start. For 990 feet, drivers are accelerating, consistently reaching speeds of 100 miles an hour and faster. Drivers will then begin initiating, trying to push their back bumper as close to the outer wall as they can while drifting into a long right-hand sweeper. This turn defines the course as drivers are trying to get as close to the wall as they can and ride it all the way around. They'll finally leave the wall and aim for clipping point number 1. Then it's a quick switch back into a shallow angle left-hander where drivers will push their car to the next outside clipping point. After that, drivers are nearly home as they switch back yet again and head right, keeping the inside line and the final clipping point before passing the finish line. Now here's some highlights of the round of 32 brought to you by Scion.
Our number 1 qualifier, Reese Millen, was supposed to take on Ken Gucci, but the Japanese driver had car troubles all day, giving Millen the win. Eric O'Sullivan against Stefan Verdier banged up the wall. Verdier moves on. And Wild Bill Sherman took out the Japanese stud Michihiro Takatori, while Marco Santos could not stand up to the power of Von Gitten's Mustang.
You're a hell of a driver, but your car's holding you back.
I know.
FD Irishman Darren McNamara attaches himself to Ben Broke-Smith's bumper and takes the win. He'll be going up against Formula Drift champion Tanner Fowl, who destroyed Remo Knightson. And Carl Rudman gets a bye and will battle Mike Quidette, who took out 3rd place qualifier Paul Vlasblom.
keep on going, do what we're doing this morning, and hopefully make it through the day.
FD driver Samu Hübner impressed the judges in his run against Ruju Miki, and the crazy Swede moves on. James Dean hit the wall and Tanku John, giving John the win. Gary Wider pushed Chris Forsberg to a one more time, but Forsberg edges him out and takes the round. He will go up against Robbie Nishida, who advanced after Conrad Grunwald went right into a wall of tires. Daijiro Yoshihara smoked Robbie Bolger and will battle Australian champ Leighton Fine in the round of 16. And to cap off our 32, Katsuhiro Ueno puts the pressure on Tim Marshall and takes the win.
Woo! As you can see, the action is heating up, so don't go anywhere. We've got the round of 16 coming right.
Long Beach. We've whittled down the drivers from the first ever 32 tandem pairing, and now we're ready for the round of 16. Reese Millen and his Red Bull Pontiac Solstice is our top qualifier amongst our international field. Now let's break down the judging criteria.
The judges are looking for speed, angle, line, and overall impact. With each driver getting a chance to lead once, they must perform the judging criteria to their best ability while in a dogfight with the other driver. After 2 consecutive laps, each judge will vote for the driver they think was the most dominant. The driver with the most votes advances. In the case of no majority, the drivers will be asked to perform the battle one more time.
Our first pairing in the top 16, Reese Millen, Stefan Verdier, New Zealand and France going at it. The Kiwi on the right, Frenchman on the left.
Highest qualifier always leads the first battle of each heat. Reese Millen already pulling ahead, 102 miles per hour right there.
For those of you new to drifting, yes, they're supposed to light up the tires like that. Look at Reese Millen on the outside. First clipping zone all the way against the wall.
Amazing job by Reese Millen as he stays right on proximity of that wall. Stefan Verdier a little bit shallow right there and now starting to fall behind Reese Millen.
Still holding on full throttle the entire time. One more clipping point on the inside for Reese Millen, but you'd have to say this first run went to him.
A very pumped up Reese Millen. Early entry, great job. Stefan Verdier already falling off, and you see the shallow angle right there. Reese Millen right on the wall all the way through. Oh,
that's close. That's what you're supposed to do. Now leading out will be Stefan Verdier.
Now, neither driver knows whether or not they have an advantage. They can only know by the feel of the previous run. Now, Reese Millen has to apply the pressure to Stefan Verdier.
That's 10 miles an hour slower going into that first turn. Didn't look like the e-brake was working as well either for Verdier.
Absolutely, and clearly you see Reese Millen applying better pressure to Verdier than he did in his first run.
Millen definitely on his tail there. Verdier looks a little better in this middle portion.
Yeah, he does. He gets that outside clipping point, but Reese Millen is clearly the dominant driver when you look at both these runs. He did a great job maintaining himself all the way through and keeping an eye on the judges' criteria. Right here you see Reese Millen up on the back bumper of Stefan Verdier. Verdier just had a lot of trouble, and Millen was able to reel him in during the end of the run.
Is there any question who wins this battle and moves on to the round of 8? Reese Millen, Reese Millen, Reese Millen. It's a sweep.
So Reese, you're advancing to the next round. You're decked out in your Red Bull gear. This is a big event for you.
It is, you know. There's obviously a little added pressure. There's no room for error. The course is crazy. It's super fast. I don't think there's one event that everyone is right on the wall at over 100 miles an hour. So it's entertaining for the fans. The anticipation factor is through the roof. And just as exciting to sit in the cockpit of this little bad boy.
I bet it is. Our next matchup, Vaughn Ginn Jr. already won a round in the Formula Drift Series this year up against Wild Bill Sherman. 2 Americans. One of them is going to get knocked out here, Ryan.
Both of these guys have a lot of momentum coming in from the last part of the Formula Drift season. As you mentioned, JR winning the last round. He will lead as the highest qualifier.
102.2, that matches Reese Millen, and we saw win that first round.
Yeah, that is right up there. And Wild Bill Sherman, a very aggressive driver, already right on that back wall with JR as they get to this first clipping point.
You can't get any closer than he just got. I mean, he scraped paint off the back bumper for sure.
Yeah, that wall is getting tattered, and right now, Bill Sherman with a lot of speed going very wide. Oh, geez Louise, offline. Yeah, Wild Bill going a little bit too far right there, but take a look at this. Right on that wall, both the drivers doing an excellent job. Here you see the smoke screen of Vaughn Ginn Jr., and here you see Wild Bill going way too far and offline, clearly giving himself a disadvantage.
He has some ground to make up. Wild Bill leads out this time. Again, 2 Americans in this round of 16. Only one can move on to the round of 8. 99 miles an hour this time.
And speed is such an important factor. You need to have the momentum to make the line all the way around, and JR all the way up against that wall right there.
Vaughn Gittin Jr. scrubbing the wall, looked good out in front. Now he's looking good, trailing and keeping oh so close to Wild Bill.
And there you go, losing the bumper right there. Wild Bill doing a pretty good job in this second run, but JR just a little bit more dominant.
Bill Sherman might have made up a little ground. Now it's up to the judges, but man, you can't get much closer than Vaughn Gittin Jr. did to that wall.
Yeah, right there you see him bounce off the wall a little bit and then perfect on the clipping point. He does a pretty good job, Wild Bill Sherman, but probably not enough.
Judge 1, Vaughn Gittin Jr., same for Judge 2 and 3. It's unanimous.
Tell me what went down on the track and what happened to your car.
Oh, well, these guys are looking really good out there, so I figured the only way for me to win is add a little flavor. So basically I'm just jumping off walls. When I'm feeling it and I'm set, I'm just kicking the wall just a little bit. And as you can see, I put a little 45-degree mark in the Mustang quarter panel, but it's all good.
Well, you're moving on. It's paid off, so we'll see you in the round of 8.
All right, see ya.
Welcome back to sunny Southern California, where the international action is fast and furious. The drivers positioning themselves for a run at the top of the podium. And while we're away in the third battle of the round of 16, things got interesting.
The Irishman Darren McNamara looking pretty fierce all day until about right now, as he allows Tanner Faust to take home the win in the round of 16.
Okay, cool. We're gonna go change some tires.
Close call for Tanner Faust. And in the fourth battle, Carl Rudeman, Mike Wadet, 2 Kiwis, and Rudeman, that wall came up just a little bit too fast, takes out Wadet, but then Wadet, watch what happens. Runs over his front spoiler, then the inner barrier.
He's yelling represent.
And he moves on.
And in one of the best battles so far, FD star Sammy Hubenet taking on a prince from Malaysia, Tengku John. An awesome run, and the judges wanted to see it one more time.
Hubenet in that Dodge Viper, the Nissan of Tengku John. And this one more time format, it is just that. They can keep going until the judges determine, hey, we have a victor.
We must have a victor, and so the drivers will go as many times as they need to find out who moves on.
Hubenet in the Mopar Power Dodge Viper, 98 miles an hour, just under that 100 mark. Look at Tengku John, he's holding tight, but way to the inside.
Nice initiation by Sam Hubenet, and there you go right there. You mentioned it. Tengku John on the inside line, very shallow, already giving a big advantage to Hubenet.
Tengku John kind of middle of the road, not going all the way to the wall, and again does it there. But look at that front end of Hubenet all the way up against that inner barrier.
And here's what sticks out right here. Samuel Hubenet on the wall all the way around. Tengku John shallow right there, and then taking a really poor line, trying to squeeze up to Hubenet and giving Hubenet a clear advantage.
So sometimes closer, not always better. You can be close, but in improper position. Now we switch sides. Tengku John with the lead into this first turn.
And this right here is Sam's specialty. You see right here, Tengku John with nice speed, but Samuel Hubenet is a master chase driver.
100 miles an hour into that first turn. You would have to think Tengku John is behind in the judges' mind after that first run, but a solid second run here.
And Samuel Hubenet has got to think that he's winning this run because he is a lot more conservative right now.
Tengku John with a little bobble there. He can't afford to do that. And the run is done. This one more time round, who would you think, Ryan?
Well, you know what? They started off pretty good, both the drivers, but right here, Tengku John makes a pretty critical error. Sam wasn't doing that well through the entire course, but I got to give him the win.
Sam, Judge 2 says Sam, so it looks like he's going to move on to the next round. And the battle of the 350Zs, Chris Forsberg and Robbie Nishida. California against Japan, Huntington Beach right down the road. That's where Forsberg lives. Robbie Nishida from Tokyo, Japan. There's Forsberg on the right. He's going to lead in. 96.5 miles an hour. Great initiation.
Awesome moves by both drivers, and Robbie Nishida right on the tail of Chris Forsberg, but Forsberg right on that wall, Robbie.
Look how close he is going into this right-hand clipping point, and now the left-hand turn, the clipping zone. Forsberg all the way up against the barrier, but look, Robbie in his back window.
Robbie Nishida maybe showing he's the quicker of the two cars, but a little bit too tight right there. Takes out a barricade at the last part of this run. A sick initiation by Chris Forsberg, but look at Robbie Nishida. I mean, hello, this guy is right on his back bumper. That is so impressive. but he just gets a little bit too aggressive, Robbie, and takes out those barricades.
It's one thing to do it when you're in front, but Nishida having to follow in that close, that was amazing. Looks like a little gamesmanship here. Forsberg trying to jump out, but it's Nishida who leads in this time. We'll see 103 miles an hour, early initiation. Nishida is leaning on it, separating himself from Forsberg.
Well, it is true. Robbie Nishida does have the quicker of the two cars, but doing a pretty good job also hitting those clipping points and that outer clipping zone. Right now, Robbie Nishida pulling away. Oh!
Well out in front, and he takes out the wall and almost takes out his competitor. Robbie Nishida looked like he had a runaway victory. Instead, he ran into the wall.
Man, he had that in the bag right there, Robbie. An awesome initiation, showing how quick his car is, and then boom, takes out the wall almost right there. Good night, Robbie Nishida.
You know he has to be kicking himself for that. Instead, Forsberg moves into the grade A.
Nicely done, Chris.
Oh, that was scary.
Drivers today are having trouble with this track. What's going on?
I've never seen more crashes in any event, whether it's a World Championships or a Formula Drift or anything. I mean, it has just been nonstop carnage. This is all for bragging rights. This is for the World Championship. You know, you got everyone from all over the world coming out here, just going forward till the bitter end. They are blowing their cars up left and right. It's ridiculous.
They're doing it for the love of the sport and for bragging rights, so there's going to be a lot more action. Stay tuned. See you in the next round.
Thank you.
We're working our way down to the grade 8. Stay tuned for more thrills, chills, and spills as the Red Bull Drifting World Championship continues. Welcome back to Long Beach, where this high-speed, custom-built course is taking its toll on the drivers. Next up is a battle of the South Pacific between Daijiro Yoshihara squaring off against Aussie Leighton Fine. If you were to ask the crowd, Daijiro has to be the favorite, but how do you count out Leighton Fine, the Australian champ?
Daijiro Yoshihara, the higher qualifier, going to be leading out this run, and both drivers have never faced each other before, so they have to exercise some caution.
Look at how early initiated and so close to the wall, Daijiro. That is solid.
An amazing entry by Dai Yoshihara, and look at Leighton Fine having a hard time finding his grasp with Dai.
Actually clipping the point there, and Dai now making the left-hander. That's perfection.
Perfect outside clipping point by Dai Yoshihara, and Leighton Fine just getting a little outclassed by the American.
The Pontiac GTO just lighting them up into that first right-hand turn. I mean, a lot of smoke, but look at the angle. Look at the line. I mean, this looks like a great run to me, Ryan.
Absolutely perfect run, or near perfect by Dai Yoshihara, but now he's got to exercise a little bit of caution. He's going up against a slower vehicle in this entry right here.
92 miles an hour into the first turn. Dai Yoshihara in the back pocket of Leighton Fine.
Yes, he is, and right there is where you want to be if you're a chase driver. Let's see how he hits his clipping point. Boom, right on.
He is totally mirroring the lead driver and actually counter-steering ahead of Leighton Fine. That's how set up he is.
Dai doing a great job, but right now getting a little bit offline. Oh, and takes out a couple of barricades right there. If you're not familiar with drifting, you just got to take a look at who is the most dominant driver, and Dai Yoshihara overall looked like that to me.
Definitely more solid in the first run. Leighton Fine maybe the second, but the judges are saying Yoshihara. It's unanimous, Yoshihara.
Dai, congratulations, you're moving on. That was a tough battle. I mean, your car had pieces dragging on the ground. Tell me about your run.
He's an Australian champion, so I know he's a good driver. So I just pushed myself as hardest.
It paid off, you won.
Yeah.
You're moving on, congratulations.
Thank you, that was a great battle. Thanks.
In the final battle of the top 16, Japanese driver Katsuhiro Ueo and Frederick Osbo from Norway, just showing you some of the international flavor.
And Robbie, I am looking forward to this one. Ueo is one of my personal favorite drivers, coming all the way from Japan, a big-time legend over there.
Look at the separation. Look at that initiation. Now I know why he's your favorite.
Oh, yeah, man. That was one of the most amazing initiations we have seen all day, and Frederick Osbo is already at a disadvantage.
Osbo trying to close in, just say, hey, judges, look, I'm close at least, but not online and not going to be in the judges' favor, do you think?
Oh, no, definitely not in the judges' favor. He was way offline there, but look at Ueo. Wow, hello, that is unbelievable. I mean, words do not even describe that. And there you go, Frederick Osbo way offline, and Ueo running away with it.
Now it's Osbo's turn to try and return the favor. He's going to lead out in that Toyota Supra this time. You should have the speed, but no, 90 miles an hour for the Supra. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, Osbo a little bit down on speed, but take a look at Whale. He is playing it a little conservative right now, Robbie.
I think he should. To be honest with you, he looked so solid that first run. If he keeps it on all four wheels, doesn't make too much contact, I think this is a conservative run that may move him into that round of 8.
Absolutely, and here he is, a last little charge there at the end, but wow, what a run by Wayo. Even though he played it conservative in the second run, there's no way I don't see him moving on.
This should be unanimous in the judges' minds as well. Osbo, a valiant effort for the Nordic Drift champ, but just not going to be enough. Ueo, and the third judge agrees. Katsuhiro moves on. So the bracket is set for the Grade 8. When we come back, the action will just keep getting more intense as the Red Bull Drifting World Championship continues. Welcome back to the Red Bull Drifting World Championship from the Port of Long Beach. We've seen so much going on today, Ryan. Crooked X, the band, they were throwing down. The Red Bull Air Force, but even those guys wanted to see 32 of the best drifters in the world. And boy, what a show so far. We started with that round of 32, then the 16, and we're at the Grade 8.
Absolutely, the action has been door to door. We've seen some amazing crashes, and now that puts us into the Grade 8. Our first battle facing off Reese Millen, representing Red Bull. So much pressure on this guy today. He is going up against Vaughn Gittin Jr., who's coming off a huge win in the Formula Drift Pro Championship.
A strong second battle in the Grade 8. Tanner Faust, the 07-08 Formula Drift champ, going against New Zealander Mike Wadette. Mad Mike with that awesome-sounding quad-rotor Mazda. He's going to give him fits. And in the third battle of the Grade 8, Chris Forsberg, the American. He was given a gift by Robbie Nishida, but I can promise you, Sam Huvenette, the two-time Formula Drift champ, he won't give him any.
And finally, a Drifters fan dream matchup. Katsuhiro Whale taking on Daijiro Yoshihara.
Pick your favorite now. This is the Grade 8. Then we'll pare it down to 4, 2, and only one can be world champion. Reese Millen, Vaughn Gittin Jr. The first run. Reese Millen, top qualifier. He leads out first.
Reese Millen setting the standard for the entry speeds all day today. Let's see how fast he is right now.
103.7, the fastest speed of the day. Reese Millen charging in there hard. Vaughn Gittin Jr. Oh! Charges in a little too hard.
Oh my goodness, JR. That could be a day ender right there.
The crowd loves him, and that's not how you want to end your day.
Watch this. JR actually catches up to Reese, and that is where he loses it. His car is just not able to maintain that speed, and boom, right into the wall. Wow, that was a hard hit, man.
At 100 miles an hour, but still has the presence of mind to hop on the car and celebrate. One Kiwi in the semifinal. Will there be two? Mad Mike Wadette from New Zealand goes up against Tanner Faust. Tanner, one of the strongest American drifters out there.
No doubt about it, and both of these drivers will be tested right here. Each driver bringing a different skill set to this battle.
The reigning Formula Drift champ, 97.6 to lead out into that right-hand sweeper turn out in front.
Oh! Mike hits.
Backs into that wall. Tanner able to keep things going. Wadette keeps it going.
Wow, I can't believe Mike came out of that, but he is way far behind Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust is off to the races. I am surprised Mike is even on the track at this point.
We've seen it before where guys make contact, pick it back up, but man, that was a hard hit.
What happened right there is Mike just came in a little bit later. He initiated later than Tanner on the entry and carried way too much speed right into the wall.
That's 2 runs in a row that we've seen guys charging too hard into that first sweeper. Let's look at it again. 99.2, even faster.
Mike Wadette carrying the big speed. Oh, Mike hits again.
It hits even harder.
What is going on here? Oh my gosh.
They're trying to get in the semifinals. That's what's going on.
Mike Wadette overly aggressive. Tanner Faust at this point just needs to make it through the run.
That quad-rotored Mazda sounds awesome, but it didn't look too good backing into those barriers.
Oh, man, Mad Mike just having a crazy run right there, just barely making it across the finish line. And there you see again, too much momentum, too much speed. Could have been from that late initiation again. And his day is probably over, Robbie.
He's driving that car like it's his last time to ever get behind the steering wheel. This car's gone. Bring me another. Tanner Faust all the way.
Does he live up to his name, Tanner? That was crazy.
Yeah, he didn't give himself that name, that's for sure. Somebody else gave him that one, and he deserves it. That was
He's a wild man, and I mean, on the very last turn of the last run, I thought he was going to take the wall out just right here, you know, at the finish line. Glad to get by that. That's one Red Bull car down, one to go.
You said it. You said it. He's going after Reese.
Coming up, 2 battles remain in the Grade 8. We'll see if the Rock'em Sock'em competition continues here at the Red Bull Drift. Welcome back to the Port of Long Beach, where a wave of excitement's rippling through the crowd as we get closer to the semifinals. Looking back at the 3rd heat of the Grade 8, Sam Hubinette, Chris Forsberg, both on the starting line. Hubinette takes off. Forsberg stalls, not firing it up. Hubinette has way too much of an advantage. The first run goes to Hubinette. Forsberg is able to fire it up for the second run, but he's just way too far behind. Hubinette moves to the semi.
And in our dream matchup of Japanese superstars, Daijiro Yoshihara and Katsuhiro Ueno, kings of the entry. The judges wanted to see it, the fans wanted to see it, so why not one more time?
Katsuhiro Ueno on the Nissan S15. You have Dai Yoshihara, the Pontiac GTO. Both Japanese competitors, one with an American steed, the other with a Japanese.
We got to see it once. It was a gem, and here we go again. Wow, amazing entry by Katsuhiro Ueno.
96 miles an hour. Look at both of these competitors side by side. Great angle, nice lines.
This is exactly what you'd love to see in a head-to-head, and nice clip by Ueno. Wow, how impressive is he right now? But Dai is also right there, Robbie.
Dai would have hit that clipping point as well if you know, it wouldn't have been knocked down ahead of him. This is too close to call in this first run.
A nice run, but way off that last clipping point, but right on this entry, right in front of the judges and right in front of the fans. Dai doing a good job of mirroring. Woo, what a run.
So the smallest of mistakes by each driver. This is the final time, or is it? This is one more time. Maybe we see it again, who knows? 96.2 on the gun.
Dai grazing that wall, and here comes Ueno, reeling in Dai. Oh, wow, super close right there, right up against the wall.
Now heading to this left-hand turn. Again, they're mirroring each other. 2 great Japanese drivers. I think Dai looks a little bit better in that middle portion.
And now Ueno trying to suck up, taking that inside line right there. Wow, to the end, a very close run. I would not want to be a judge. Jeez Louise, look at that right there. And that may have been the nail in Ueno's coffin, coming in too aggressive and straightens right in front of the judges.
Yeah, you can't do that, especially right in front of the judges' stations. Dai by the first judge, and it looks like Dai Yoshihara is going to move on, although we did have one more time. Coming up, the semifinals of the Red Bull Drifting World Championship from Long Beach, California.
Hey guys, welcome back. I found 2 friends here, Ryan and Dylan from LA, who are actually rooting for different people. So who are you cheering for?
Tanner Faust, hands down.
And what about you?
Reese Millen, better driver.
Oh man, how do you guys get through this? Can you still be friends?
Yeah, because Reese Millen always wins, so I'm always happy.
All right, well let's see how these guys duke it out and how Reese and Tanner duke it out on the track.
No doubt, Maylene, a lot of history between these two, but before we get to their semifinal, let's take a look at Reese Millen's arduous journey getting to this point. I mean, whether it be persevering through a broken car or recovering from a broken back.
Reese has had an incredible comeback season, and to be honest, I don't think people understand what it takes to miss the first event and make it up in points to finish 3rd overall.
It's a phenomenal story, coming back and having a rough start with a broken car and then be back on the podium and finish. So it's a tremendous story, and it happened this year.
There's no denying that Reese is one of the most competitive guys out here. When you think of Reese, you think of competitive. And that comes out in everything that he does. He wants to be the first to do some things like the backflip in the truck. He wants to be the best at anything he competes in. And he really took this project on to build a mechanism, design a mechanism that would help the truck do a backflip. To imagine actually riding in the thing and doing it, that's kind of mind-blowing. So there's definitely a little bit of crazy left in Reese yet.
The day that the accident happened was our final day of testing. We had scheduled for that day 3 jumps. We had done 2 in the morning with the full body on, and we'd landed both of those successfully. The only thing we had to change in our advantage to get more rotation was speed. The unforeseen thing was that speed changed the outcome of how it released the ramp. That changed the trajectory of the flight of the truck, and at that point, it was utter disappointment before I even hit the ground. This was the worst injury that I'd sustained. 3 fractured vertebrae in my neck, 2 broken and compressed vertebrae in my back. You know, this year is all about closing the vault. You know, it's been a year of thinking about what went wrong.
You know, it doesn't surprise me at all that he's going to go try it again. You know, that's one thing about, I would say, 75% of the drivers here that, you know, we don't fail. You know, we might fail once, but eventually we're going to make it.
Our focus now is to finish the task at hand, and I'm very excited for New Year's this year.
I cannot believe he's going to try that again. I mean, landing on your lid from that high up. This is it, semifinal. Reese Millen, Tanner Faust, 3 championships in Formula Drift between the two. And it's Millen into the first turn first, but you see that Faust set up real early.
And get ready for some fireworks. Reese Millen trying to do what he can to pull away from Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust is a master chase driver.
But it doesn't look like he wants to chase. It looks like he wants to hit his marks as well as get by Millen. I mean, he is all over him.
He is all over him, and nice outside clipping point by both drivers. But if I had to estimate, I'd say this run is pretty even right about now. Here you see nice entry. Look at that counterlock by Reese, but here's Tanner Faust right there. Nice on that outside wall, and right here on that clipping point, awesome by both drivers.
But you would think the judges really had to appreciate that early initiation by Faust when he was the driver behind.
Absolutely. The judges are looking at if you can enter early and keep speed, that's a huge bonus.
98.7, Tanner Faust picking up the pace just a little bit.
Reese Millen right there, though, and he's a little bit closer to Tanner than Tanner was to him in the first run.
Both drivers hitting that inside clipping point, and now making the move to the outside clipping zone, and it looks solid for both drivers.
Robbie, I gotta tell you, this is not an easy battle to score. I mean, I guess this is what happens when you put 2 champions together. Do you give it to Reese Millen for sticking it to Tanner on that entry, or do you give it to Tanner for running a cleaner run in the first battle? This is not a time you want to be a judge.
Sounds like a time for one more time. Oh, Reese Millen, one more time, and it goes to Reese Millen.
Reese, congratulations. You're surprisingly calm. I'm over here shaking after that. That was incredible.
You know, anytime you run against Tanner, you know it's going to be a great run. He pulled a little sneaky trick on the straightaway. He goosed it, and then accelerated, tried to get me. But the rest of the run, what can I say, this little Red Bull car was just all over him.
You're representing Red Bull so well today. You're on the podium, and you're going for #1. Good luck!
One semi down, one more to go. Sam Hubinette, Daijiro Yoshihara. Hubinette maybe looking for a little redemption. He finished second in the 08 Formula Drift season. Will he be the world champion? He's got to get by Dai.
And he's got to get by somebody that is Reese Millen's teammate, ironically.
101 miles an hour. The 100-plus club is met here. Look at this semi.
Wow, amazing entry by Stanley Hubinette, but Daijiro is right there, Robbie, right on the back bumper of Stanley Hubinette.
A perfect mirror image. Dai Yoshihara all over the Mopar-powered Sam Hubinette, and really on that outside clipping zone.
And if you want to stick out and show that you are the dominant driver to the judges, you do what Dai did right there and stay on that outside zone. But really, Dai was showing it up front as he's mirroring Stanley Hubinette all the way around the course. Here's that outside zone. Boom. Nice job by Dai.
And doing it from the chase position. Now it's his turn to lead.
Well, Dai is really pouring it on. He is showing an aggressive style, and he clearly has an advantage right here.
101.3, but you're already seeing some separation. Dai trying to pull away from Hubinette, heading into that first sweeper. Oh, and contact.
Samuel Hubinette nails the wall, getting baited by Dai Yoshihara, 101.3 miles per hour, quicker than he has gone into that corner, and nails the wall. Just too much momentum right there.
Slamming Sammy Hubinette, backs it into the right-hand sweeper hard, and it's amazing he didn't do more damage to that Viper. Dai Yoshihara moves on to the finals to face his boss, Reese Millen.
Just speed me. You're not supposed to do that. Thanks, man.
Crowd here in Long Beach is ready for the final of the Red Bull Drifting World Championship. We're starting to lose light, so we better get back out on the track. The competition for third place. This is the consolation round. Tanner Faust, Sam Humanette. Who's going to take third?
This is definitely bragging rights here. You have your 2006 and 2007 Formula Drift champions going head-to-head.
Tanner again initiates really early, 99 miles an hour. Sam's keeping it below that 100 mark this time.
And Sam able to stay a little bit above Tanner, but right now Tanner looks like he's starting to reel in at this point.
Hitting the marks of that inside clipping point. Now you see the switch, the counter steer, that clipping zone. Woo! Side by side.
Nice job by Tanner, and now Sam taking the inside line, cutting it just a little closer right there. And Tanner Faust doing a great job entering real early into the course. But like you said, Robbie, being able to maintain speed and stay up on Samuel pretty much the entire time.
You think Tanner's a little disappointed he didn't get by Reese Millen? I mean, it looked like it could have been a one more time shot. If one more judge would have said so, we would have seen that. So I think he's looking for redemption right now.
Well, these guys are true competitors at heart, and this is for a podium spot, so both of them want to be up there.
A little more separation in this run, don't you think, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. Tanner starting to pull away a little bit against a car that he probably shouldn't be able to pull away from.
Well, the Viper has the horsepower, but remember, he backed it into that first turn not too long ago, and maybe there's something wrong with the car as well. Tanner Faust, how can you go against him in that run?
Just way too smooth, way too consistent. We don't know what kind of problem Sam might have been having with the car, but overall, Tanner Faust showing that he was the dominant driver. And let's see how the judges react to the run.
Judge number 1 says Tanner as well as 2 and 3. It's a clean sweep. Tanner Faust is third. And now the battle of two teammates. Reese Millen Racing can't go wrong here, but only one can win.
Who would have thought?
Oh, that's great. My dream is come true.
Reese Millen qualifies number 1. He leads out here against Daijiro Yoshihara. Yoshihara wants to put it to his boss. You know that for a fact.
It has been a long, hard-fought day, but here we go in the finals.
102 miles an hour sliding into that first sweeper.
And Dai nice on that wall, but now what's happening? He's coming off the wall. You gotta wonder if he misshifted or was braking wrong. I'm not sure, Robbie, but right now he's at a big disadvantage.
He scrubbed way too much speed. This is a finals. You can't afford to do that, especially against Reese Millen.
And now Reese Millen just running away at the finish line right there. Man, Dai was looking so good on entry, and you can see he's actually closer to the outside wall than Millen is, and right there, he sucks back in and loses a lot of angle and the line he had.
You think maybe he made a little contact or thought he was going to hit the wall?
He may have been nervous, he may have misshifted, he may have done some wrong braking. It's hard to say at this point.
Look how much on the outside Reese is setting up. 103 miles an hour this time. Dai leads in hard, and Reese is high and tight.
Dai is angry, so fast on that entry speed, but Reese Millen is right there. The boss wants to go home the champion.
Has things crossed up, but he's at such a deficit.
No!
And you're going the wrong way. It's all but official. Reese Millen is going to win the World Championship over his teammate, Dai Yoshihara.
From the beginning, Dai was pushing it so hard, 103 miles per hour on the entry, and right there, a place where you would never suspect a spin out, he does, and hands Reese the win and the Red Bull Drifting World Championship.
Reese Millen goes from being a no-show in Long Beach at the first Formula Drift stop to the top of the podium at the Red Bull Drifting World Championships. His teammate Dai Yoshihara takes second. Back-to-back Formula Drift champ Tanner Faust takes third. It's been an exciting season, and for the drivers, it's time to let their hair down and let the bubbly flow.
Reese Millen, congratulations on a monumental win on so many levels, taking first, RMR coming in second.
It's amazing, you know, to stand on the top of the podium is one thing, but to come to this event, to enter two cars and have both of them in first and second place, that's just a testament to the strength of my sponsors and the credibility of my talented team. And what more can I say? To go against Dai, as we've done all year long, and to prevail here this weekend and be #1 world champion,
beautiful feeling. It's going to take a while for this one to sink in.
How about the never say die attitude of Reese Millen? I mean, boy, he comes on strong, solid the entire event, and going up against his teammate. I mean, Di and him battled throughout the Formula Drift season, and Reese finishing third overall, but here he's crowned champion.
I mean, what an amazing story. What a great way to end a year. Reese Millen breaking his back early on, only to face his own teammate, RMR teammate Daijiro Yoshihara in the final. Overall, what an awesome event. We had a ton of international drivers out, the biggest talent pool ever combined right here in Long Beach. Robbie, unbelievable.
Very exciting. We're so glad you could be a part of it. For Maylene Ramey, Ryan Sage, I'm Robbie Floyd, and we hope to see you next year.
You know what the worst part is? It's my car now. I got to pay the body damage.
Reese just got married. So Reese, if you're watching, you know, this is dangerous stuff that you're doing here. You should just take it easy. I know it's a Red Bull event. You got a big Red Bull on the side of your Solstice and everything, but give the rest of us a chance.
It is hard to drive like a man in a chick car.
Oh.